Dr. Seuss's ABC, an amazing alphabet book.
Dr. Seuss, ABC, an amazing alphabet book.
Big A, little a, what begins with A?
Big A, little a, what begins with A?
Aunt Annie's alligator, A.
Aunt Annie's alligator, A.
Big B, little b, what begins with B?
Big B, little b, what begins with B?
Barber baby bubbles and a bumblebee.
Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee.
Big C, little c, what begins with C?
Big C, little c, what begins with C?
Camel on the ceiling, C.
Camel on the ceiling, C.
Big D, little d, what begins with D?
Big D, little d, what begins with D?
Donuts and a duck dog, D.
Donuts and a duck dog, D.
Donuts and a duck dog, D. Big E, little e, what begins with E?
Big E, little e, what begins with E?
Ear, egg, elephant, E.
Ear, egg, elephant, E.
Big F, little f, what begins with F?
Big F, little f, what begins with F?
4 fluffy feathers on a feff.
4 fluffy feathers on a feather.
Big G, little g, what begins with G?
Big G, little g, what begins with G?
Goat and goo goo goggles, G.
Goat and goo goo goggles, G.
Big H, little h, what begins with H?
Big H, little h, what begins with H?
Hungry horse, hen in hat, H.
Hungry horse, hen in hat, H.
Big I, little I, what begins with I?
Big I, little I, what begins with I?
Itchy, Ichabod, I.
Itch, Ichabod, I.
Big J, little j, what begins with J?
Big J, little j, what begins with J?
Jerry Jordan's jelly jar, J.
Jerry Jordan's jelly jar, J.
Big K, little k, what begins with K?
Big K, little k, what begins with K?
Kangaroo and kite, K.
Kangaroo and kite, K.
Big L, little l, what begins with L?
Big L, little l, what begins with L?
Lion with a lollipop, L.
Lion with a lollipop, L.
Big M, little m, what begins with M?
Big M, little m, what begins with M?
Mice in the moonlight, M.
Mice in the moonlight. M.
Big N, little n, what begins with those?
Big N, little n, what begins with those?
9 new neckties, nightshirt, no.
9 new neckties. 9 sure knows.
Big O, little o, what begins with O?
Big O, little o, what begins with O?
Ostrich oil, orange owl, o.
Ostrich oil, orange owl. O.
Big P, little p, what begins with P?
Big P, little p, what begins with P?
Painting some pajamas pink, P.
Painting some pajamas pink, P.
Big Q, little q, what begins with Q?
Big Q, little q, what begins with Q?
The quick queen of Quincy and her quacking quackaroo.
The quick queen of Quincy and her quacking quackaroo.
Big R, little r, what begins with R?
Big R, little r, what begins with R?
Rosie's red rhinoceros, R.
Rosie's red rhinoceros, R. Rhinoceros, R.
Big S, little s, what begins with S?
Big S, little s, what begins with S?
Sammy sipping soda pop, S.
Sammy sipping soda pop, S.
Big T, little t, what begins with T?
Big T, little t, what begins with T?
10 tired turtles on a tuttle tree.
10 tired turtles on a tuttle tree.
Big U, little u, what begins with U?
Big U, little u, what begins with U?
Uncle Up's umbrella and his underwear too.
Uncle Up's umbrella and his underwear too.
Big V, little v, what begins with V?
Big V, little v, what begins with V?
Verna, Vera, Vin, and her violet violin.
Verna, Vera, Vin, and her violet violin.
Big W, little w, what begins with W?
Big W, little w, what begins with W?
Willie's in the washtub, washing Waldo Woo.
Willie's in the washtub, washing Waldo Woo.
Big X, little x, what begins with X?
Big X, little x, what begins with X?
X-ray and xylophone, X.
X-ray and xylophones, XXX.
Big Y, little y, what begins with Y?
Big Y, little y, what begins with Y?
Yawning yellow yak with Yolanda on his back.
A yawning yellow yak with Yolanda on his back. Sorry again.
X. Big Y, little y, what begins with Y?
Big Y, little y, what begins with Y?
A yawning yellow yak with
A yawning yellow yak
Yolanda on his back.
with Yolanda on his back. With Yolanda on his back.
Big Z, little z, what begins with Z?
Big Z, little z, what begins with Z?
A zizzer, zazzer, zuzz, as you can plainly see.
A zither, zazzer, thus, as you can plainly see.